Okay guys, we are carving a steak or butchering a steak. Top sirloin, so here's what you got. This first layer right here, this is the more tough cut of the sirloin, and you can actually see the grains are gonna run differently between this cut of meat and this cut of meat on the bottom. The bottom portion is actually gonna be our more tender sirloin, and then basically what I'll do with the top is those are kind of like towards the end of the week when I'm running low. Then I'll end up eating those. Now, we've got this cap up here at the top. This cap's gonna come off first, so I'm gonna do that now. And essentially, it's as simple as digging your knife in. And you wanna try to stay as close to that line of fat as you can as you go through here. There we go. And that's it. So we're gonna carve this off. That's it, okay? So I'm gonna repeat that process until I've got the whole cap cut off. I'll be back in just a second. All right, so we've got the cap taken off here. We can see we got a little, just a touch more organ meat, or organ fat. We can just take the butt end of our knife, dig that in, kind of like in wedge cuts essentially, right? There we go. And that's good enough for me. We've got very little left on here. I don't mind leaving that. So there we go, okay? So now that we've got that part done, let's go back to the way that we had this thing originally. You're gonna see there's a natural seam here, and you can actually almost pull this right off, okay? See that? That just wants to come off naturally. Two different parts of muscle, two different muscle groups, and they're basically just held together by some sinew and fat. So I don't even need to cut this necessarily until I get down to the very end, but it's butterflied, so we're just gonna cut through that there. Okay, so this is the portion that's gonna give me kind of like my strip steaks, right? I would essentially just go like this. We're gonna cut across the grain. Since the grain is running this way, right, we'll cut across it. So this part is good to go for now. Now, over here, this is where we got our more tender cut that I was mentioning a moment ago. One thing I am gonna do before I start cutting these into steaks properly, you can see we've got one more large layer of fat right here. Okay, we don't want that. It's super chewy, and quite honestly, it's not all that great for you. So I'm going to cut that out. Add that to the trimmings pile that I've got here. This trimmings pile, essentially what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to put it in a pot. I'm going to boil it, and my dogs love Sundays because that's when they get to eat straight up cow fat. They love it. So this over, get this one last little layer off. Okay. Got one more wedge cut of fat right here. Take that off. And then we got some silver skin that I'm gonna deal with. So I'm gonna cut that off there. You basically just cut into that lining of silver skin. Just real small cut along the edge. We're good to go there. So, all right. So now it's time to turn this bad boy into steak. One more layer of silver skin right here and here. And this right here, this is the residual that's left over from that top layer of that strip that I just took off a moment ago. So I'm just gonna pull that off there because I hate when my steaks have that silver skin on it. Okay, perfect. Now, there she is, gorgeous. Let's cut this bitch into steaks, or this thing into steaks. Now the easiest way to deal with this, because it's such a big cut of meat, is actually just to cut it right down the middle. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut this bad boy right down the middle. Okay, so now what we can see here is our grain is running this way. You can see it's running laterally across. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna turn it this way. We're gonna cut our steaks like this, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We'll start right here. I like my steaks to be pretty thick. Like 9 or 10 ounces, that's my steak right there. And I'd venture to say that one's about 8.5 to 9.5 ounces. So there it is. Good to go until we're ready to wrap. Okay? Same thing here. That one's a little bit lighter, so that's more probably closer to 8 ounces. So you can see here we got a good thickness on the steak. That's it. They're all gonna go right there. I'm gonna repeat this process for both of these cuts of meat until they're done. Then we tag them and bag them. Over here, these are the strips that I was talking about. And we can see here, this one's running kind of up. There's not too much I can do about that. I'm just basically just gonna cut these into strip steaks. Thick strip steaks. So you can see, there's my steak there. Okay, a little bit of fat on this one. It's all right. But that's it, gents. We just repeat that process. Bag them up. And this is how I get my top sirloin for, on average about, it fluctuates week to week, but on average about $4.99 a pound versus, you know, $9.99 or 10 or sometimes even 12 depending on where you go. But that's it. Beautiful, beautiful beef.